Hey guys, welcome back to TwoSpannersContact channel. Today we're working on Wifey's project again. She's been driving around for a few weeks now. There's a couple of niggly bits and slightly a bigger job that I'm doing today. So just comment down below, let me know what you think they are. We always reply to all our comments. Right, let's get on with it. So, she's been driving around for a few weeks now. She's got a squeak coming from this brake, which is probably because they've painted it and I'm guessing the pads are sticking to the caliper and they're not releasing and moving back and forth, so we're going to sort that out. The tracking slightly out. But before we can get on with any of that, you'll never guess what we've got going on. The gear stick started to wobble inside the car, so we all know what that means. The chocolate gearbox's bearings are starting to go. So today we are dropping out the gearbox and sending that away for a refurb. Unfortunately, but you know, you've got to look after these cars at the end of the day. Like, I think there's only 237 left on the road of the VXR racing editions, and once she's done with it, it's going in storage. You never know, it might turn out to be one of them little hot hatches back from like the 80s and 70s and 90s that everyone started to collect. So further ado, let's get on with this. So, right, I've removed the cables. I've just left the bracket with them, unbolted the bracket off the top of the gearbox. It's got to come off anyway, and I've just cable tied it up here out the way. I've got to disconnect the pipe. There's a couple of little brackets I need to remove off the gearbox also while I'm up here. And while I'm up here, I'm going to take the bolts out the top of the gearbox. It ain't going to go anywhere. Just so that if I can't use the engine brace across the top to hold the engine up, I won't have to get a step ladder and keep climbing up and down to get to the bolts and undo everything. I'll just have to go up once and just undo the bracket while the engine's supported underneath by a gearbox stand. So I'll crack on, we'll remove all them and then we'll move on. steering track rod end was a little bit stuck. So what you do is if you put the nut back on, you won't flare over the end, and you can just gun the nut back off or take it off with a socket. Just helps you, you know, not damage the thread in the end, and then you won't be able to get a nut back on. So just a little tip there for you. I'm going to get this pinch bolt out, get the hub nut off, pull this forward, get the drive shaft out, do the same the other side, and then I think we're more or less just ready to support the engine and unbolt it all. Sweet. All right, put you back on time lapse. So guys, right, a little update. Got both drive shafts out, both lower arms are off, supporting the engine. I'm just going to start taking all the bolts out of the gearbox. Then I'm going to take the lower mount off. Then I'm going to have to get a pair of ladders and get at the top and try and get the top mount off, and then my workmate's going to help me try and wiggle this box out. Might have to drop it down a little bit just so we can get it past the, I don't think you see that's dark, just so we can get it past the inner, well, chassis leg there. Oh, there's my torch up there. Oops. Oh. So I'll just put you back on time lapse while I take all these bolts out and get this lower gearbox mount out, and I'll support it with another gearbox jack. Right, so lower brackets off. As you can see, the case has already started splitting. So we just need to get up there and take that top gear box mount off. Sorry, got a little bit tongue tied. So we're just going to do that, and then we'll be back, and hopefully we can film me and my work colleague dropping this box out. Right guys, sorry I didn't film us taking the box out. It was a little bit of a struggle, having to twist it past the subframe and get a decent angle on it. I've propped the engine up with a jack stand. I've put two under there just to be safe. I've also put an axle stand under there just to peace of mind, as the blocks the other side seem to have moved slightly. So our little chocolate box is out, going for new bearings next week. On Monday I'll drop it off. I've also done this just so I know where my nuts and bolts go. I've even put the purple pen on it. I've put an arrow so I know which way the bolts go round, obviously with the brackets on. So that is it for the Mrs. project at the moment. She's been driving it around for a few weeks, like I said. Obviously she started getting a bit of gear stick wobble, so hopefully the bearings will sort that out. She also had another issue where it wasn't returning to center, the gear stick. So I'm going to check that out on my, probably off camera. It's probably either just the cables or the selector might just need greasing back up. Hopefully that's not an issue. And then obviously once it's all back together, I've got to sort out the squeaky brakes. I think it's because they've obviously painted them in paint and not actually done it with the, you know, pads out. So now I think they're just binding together and not actually releasing off the brake, but we'll find out. I'll probably just take them all off, clean them all up, see if that makes a difference. If not, then I'll get some new pads for us, no biggie. I might even replace the lower arms while I'm this far in. So hopefully you've liked this little episode. Please don't forget to give us a little thumbs up, hit the little notification bell and subscribe. That would be fantastic. And see you on the next one. Welcome back guys. It's 3 days later. We've got the gearbox back from the Gearbox Centre that's near us. So the pricing of the gearbox was £585 for new bearing seals, and they've took some preload out of the shaft, so the bearings ain't so tight. Apparently this really helps to stop the bearings from shitting themselves, so we'll soon find out. I've got 12 months warranty with it. I've already put the gearbox back in. I just didn't think you'd not want to watch me reverse it. It'd be hard getting angles and putting bolts and stuff in. So I hope you enjoyed this little video on the Corsa VXR of the missus. We're just about to drop it down. We're going to fill the gearbox up, put the cables back on, put the battery tray back in, and we're done. So please don't forget to hit the little thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave us a comment. We're always here to help anyone out that watches the channel or subscribed. As Danny knows, we might be working on his car again soon. Thanks for that. So we'll see you on the next one. Take care.